on what we've learned last night related to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I've been covering the case since March of 2024. And what we've learned is, I don't know, a little shocking. So let's go back. When we first learned about this case related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, we learned that he had a day out. He saw some family members, he had some breakfast, saw some family members, went to a wholesale store, went to a bowling alley to play video games, and went to a steakhouse to have steak. Since the beginning of this case, none of that we've seen any footage of, right? Even the photo of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was from the Saturday, February 24th, in a Costco, not anything they did on the date that he disappeared or the day before the Sunday that he disappeared, depending on what theory you believe has happened. Good morning, Pale Rider, Mel B, Kendra, Samantha, Princess Jasmina. It's nice to see you. Izzy Girl, hey, hey, hey. True Crime Addict, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Stephanie, Eeyore Blues, Phil, SPED teacher, Natalie, it's nice to see you. I figured I'd run a little bit on this channel today. We haven't really been on this channel much, and I know there are some people, oh, Crafty Chris is up in the house, some people that are on this channel, some people that are on the other channel, so didn't really want to leave anybody out. But we've learned that the day was fairly busy, and we learned that some people had seen some photos of Sebastian in the bowling alley playing those video games, didn't look very happy or whatnot. I did preview the video in its entirety and, of course, made a video on the Bullhorn Betty main channel that is now being passed around. It shows him, being calm and eating, no disruptions or disturbances of any kind in there, but he doesn't really seem happy. If you look at the photo from his optimism and you see the camera and how happy he was when he was at Costco's, and you see kind of his demeanor while he's there, oh, sweet misery, it's nice to see you, while he's there, you notice that he doesn't seem as happy as he would normally seem. And another thing I noticed is the mom's basically ignoring him. Typically when I sit down with somebody, we kind of have a conversation. It seems like that, at least that clip, she was on her phone and sneaking photos of him. What was that all about? Did you guys notice that? She kind of held it down and clicked, and it was just really, I don't know. I've seen at least two where she tried to obscure the fact she was taking a photo of him. And one of those photos, she was, oh, thank you, sweet misery, God bless you. One of those photos were like a direct facial shot of him, it appeared. So now comes the question, why wasn't any of those photos used the day that he disappeared? I'm scratching my head still trying to figure out that, because he was wearing at least black. It would have showed him what his skin color would be against black clothing. I mean, he did disappear in a black, long sleeve shirt. So I don't understand. Did she delete them? Did she not hand them over to law enforcement? Did law enforcement see them? Yeah, I got a whole host of questions now that I saw the inside of that dining establishment. Now, another thing that really kind of rubs me the wrong way in there is she's so dismissive of Sebastian being there. She's really not paying attention to him, but I do see him speaking to her. You can't see, from the angle that it was, you really can't see her lips moving but a little bit. But you can tell that there was some type of discussion exchanged between Sebastian and his mother. But I don't know. She moved the basket the waitress brought out of camera view immediately, then pretends to act normal and examine the bread basket and bread she was already picking and eating from. I did see some movement with the bread basket. Maybe she didn't want him having too much bread. I don't know. It didn't seem like she had it seemed like he had a salad plate there. So maybe this, if we had to look or guess, maybe the image potentially is maybe before they ate, and maybe she didn't want him filling up on bread because it looked like he was eating salad before his meal got out there. Might have something to do, potentially. I'm just thinking of possibilities. Holly reminds us, I wish I could put you on the main thing, but I can't. Holly reminds us, happy birthday, Sebastian. If everybody just wants to say a upbeat and hopeful prayer for Sebastian's safe return today, we're just going to take about 5 seconds and just take a moment just to say your prayer to him for his birthday, maybe a nice, lovely birthday wish as well. Just a few seconds, if you don't mind. I appreciate that, everyone. Those photos probably for whoever she sent with. I'd like to know, and I know we're never going to find out until or at a time if and when they are arrested, if and when we find out who is responsible for this. You know, again, there's a lot up in the air. I have my opinions about it, but factually, we don't have anything other than strong opinions and some pretty strong, stinking circumstantial evidence. But still not enough. I can tell you that. Not enough. We need more. Law enforcement needs more. People need to come forward if you see or heard anything that was out of the ordinary that evening. Now, I just want to take a few moments just to go over and read some things to each of you guys. Try to set this up. Okay, let me get into this one. There's just a couple updates that I wanted to go over before we kind of open up the discussion. Thank you all. Pete, it's nice to see. Hey, Yada. Go ahead, ask the question, love. Ask the question. We're kind of, chatting and chilling anyways, so this would be the perfect time because when I'm doing a full live, I don't pay attention to chat. And it's no disrespect, but, I got a show to run. I pray every day. Yes, yes, yes. We all do. Happy birthday, all. That's so sweet. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for participating. Where was I going? If they handed over his clothes from that night. I heard they did, Yada, but, other than that, I mean, it's like, they haven't given the father a whole lot of information or even showed him the clothes. So we finally know that this, the clothing, what it looks like now. So, and law enforcement would have known because they would have had this footage long before it was released. We're looking at a case that's over 9 months old. And so all this stuff would have had to have been seen by law enforcement. So I think more fraudulent passport IDs like face driver's license type stuff she could change. Yeah, but to be honest with you, it's very difficult. Honestly, it's very difficult to, especially for professionals in insurance and stuff like that. It's very obvious to people that look at licenses all the time that they're not very good. I mean, they're okay for the naked eye, but I don't know. I think at this point somebody would have gotten wind that the ID was wrong. Just my personal opinion. So give me just a second. Here's what we had. This is what was, why isn't it moving? This is what we have from about 10 hours ago. I'll read the one from at night. And then the one from Dog, the Bounty Hunter. So everybody's kind of up to date on everything that they need to know. Before the heartbreaking disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, his mother, Miss Proudfoot, captured what would be unknowingly become his final moments through photos and videos. Sebastian sharing a simple meal and a seemingly ordinary moment now forever etched in time. Though she took those photos and videos, they They never made it past that table. They were not shared, not posted, left frozen in that moment of innocence. If you received or saw or heard of any photos or videos from that day, we urge you to come forward. Even the smallest detail may hold the key to finding Sebastian and bringing him home. Please reach out to Dog the Bounty Hunter or Nick the Hat. You can also contact Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, and alternatively the FBI office or nearest American Embassy or consulate. And it shows the video. This is where the video was attached that I did the other video on my main channel of the inside of this Texas Roadhouse. Any information, no matter how small, could help piece together the events of that evening. At Night is relentlessly pursuing all leads and will provide a significant public update within the next 72 hours. We appreciate your vigilance and unwavering support in our search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Together, we will bring answers to his family and uncover the truth. So I've posted that on the main channel, and I hope everybody goes over there and reviews and blows up the interior of that restaurant. Is there anything out of the ordinary there? Is there anything that appears to not sit right? Any behaviors you notice that maybe I didn't pick up on, or maybe haven't been discussed? Let me know. Reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. She's wearing a dark colored hoodie. You can see the hoodie hanging over her shoulders. Prepare for dark night shenanigans in common areas later, Mama Bear says. Oh, she is wearing a because I'm looking at the video as we speak. I don't know if that looks like a shirt hoodie. I don't know. Dogs states Dogs Nation. Where or who did these photos and videos of Sebastian Rogers on February 25th go to? Question mark. Reward is $225,155. Call 833-TELL-DOG. So that's what his is. And of course, in these missing person flyers, they also give you updated information about what's going on. So I'm going to try to read that to you guys here. If you guys give me just a quick second, this is what it states. It says, the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, this is in the actual flyer. The disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has captivated the attention of law enforcement authorities who have conducted an extensive investigation into his whereabouts. On August 26, 2024, the FBI offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sebastian Rogers' safe return and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. On September, the September reward, I don't know why it's falling off. Okay, on September 3rd, there it goes. Sorry, the print's small, bear with me. On September 3rd at night, joined search efforts and announced a $50,000 reward for Sebastian's safe return and his abductor's conviction. Credible leads in Oregon and New York led to an increased reward of $225,000, $155. Initial reports indicated his safe return on February 25th. However, At Night maintains that he did not return. If he did, Green Hoodie or accomplice were likely present, as evidenced by video footage capturing two individuals in Miss Proudfoot's neighborhood that evening. New information suggests Sebastian felt uneasy on February 25th. Analysis of enhanced 16x slow motion video indicates Sebastian may have been kidnapped by at least two predators who targeted Miss Proudfoot outside the Texas Roadhouse. Surveillance footage and corroborating evidence supports this, suggesting his final sighting was February 25th, 2024 at the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sebastian and Katie Lynn Proudfoot, Miss Proudfoot, arrived in a dark-colored vehicle, followed them. While inside, Miss Proudfoot took at least two photographs of Sebastian, who was seated across from her. While at the restaurant, Sebastian went to the restroom for about 4 to 5 minutes, and Miss Proudfoot is seen texting with unknown person. She asked for the check and continued texting the individual. When the two stood up, the hooded person exited the vehicle and the driver repositioned it behind Miss Proudfoot's car. She and Sebastian exited the restaurant. The green hoodie tried to get Miss Proudfoot's attention from her car door. The subject was angled away from the cameras, but a physical interaction and transaction appeared to have occurred. Miss Proudfoot handed the green hoodie an object, and then the green hoodie handed her an unidentified item before disappearing from the camera. After the interaction, Green Hoodie journeyed on foot toward the Texas Roadhouse. No footage shows their exit or any subsequent action, so their whereabouts are unknown. Further, the dark colored vehicle followed Miss Proudfoot. Green Hoodie and their accomplice might have been in Sebastian's neighborhood immediately following the interaction at the restaurant. Miss Proudfoot has refused to discuss this matter and suggests that Dog the Bounty Hunter and private investigators should ask the police those questions, emphasizing any communication to myself or my husband should go through law enforcement. Contact them, not us. However, there's no evidence that Miss Proudfoot met with Green Hoodie or their accomplice after leaving the restaurant. At Night is re-examining the timeline of February 25th, 2024 to understand Sebastian's final confirmed interactions and the identities of everyone involved. At Night is working independently from the state and local officials. We urge the public to report any information that could help clarify Sebastian's final hours at the Texas Roadhouse and lead to his whereabouts to contact authorities. Dog the Bounty Hunter's team is also actively involved, collaborating with confidential sources to pursue leads. They remain optimistic that these developments could bring them closer to finding Sebastian. If you have any information, please contact Dog the Bounty Hunter at 833-TELL-DOG. So there is your most recent updates from them. But yes, interesting about her wearing that hoodie. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. I think law enforcement has been covering up for this a long time. I don't know if they're covering up for it, but I definitely believe that they're keeping it close to their chest. I just personally, have a problem with outsiders being arrested for constitutional reasons, such as running a show, such as going and getting footage on public roadways in their counties. I find that very highly disturbing, and I blame top brass for that. I blame top brass for the failures of following and adhering to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That's top brass's problems. That's top brass's failure to properly delegate responsibilities and what needed to be taking place on the ground. It contaminated a crime scene inside that crime scene and outside that crime scene. And so I think that, that's my issue when it comes to law enforcement. But I don't think they're covering up for them. I don't know any law enforcement. It's very rare that you see law enforcement outside unless they're family covering up. I mean, this is a worldwide case, and a lot of focus is on here. So I don't really agree with the handling of this. And again, another top brass issue. But covering up like for these parents, I don't see that. I think that they had the wolves pulled over their eyes there at the law enforcement. And, that's an embarrassment of itself, in my opinion. How can this not be a criminal investigation? Yet law enforcement may be playing this word salad, but we know the policies and procedures of a criminal investigation. And I've maintained since they scaled back efforts on March 4th that this was a criminal investigation. And I will continue to maintain that moving forward, despite what law enforcement wants public to know or say or how they want them to say it. I tell the truth. I'm not going to provide word salad on here. When I think there's word salad being used, I do clarify that for my audience, like I've been doing related to that. But there is a criminal investigation. All of their behaviors and how they're handling this case is screaming criminal investigation, which is not, not really what we want to hear. I want to know if she ordered a meal for herself or just got bread. Well, if you notice the area that we are looking at in this photo, it looks almost at the beginning, but they said that she asks for the check and gets up and leaves. And you do see a photo of her getting up and leaving, but it seemed to me like he was eating salad. Everybody kept saying he was eating salmon and she had steak. That's not what kind of food. They look like they went there just to get a snack or an appetizer or something. Her plate is an appetizer size plate. He looks like he's gnawing on some salad. So I really don't know, what kind of meal they ate. I feel like the meal that we've been told that they ate for the last 9 months probably isn't the meal that they actually ate based on these photos. So I don't know. And with her getting up and leaving, we'd have to assume that this was at the end of the meal as well. So thank you, the real me too. Happy sweet 16, Sebastian. I hope wherever you are, you're celebrating and eating all the cake and ice cream you want. That's sweet. That's sweet. Good morning, beautiful Mod Squad, SPET teachers. Nice to see you. Beautiful peeps in the chat. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you as well. What mother would act like that when your son's been missing this long? She doesn't act like a grieving mother, but Seth, oh, Seth is a mess, turning no stone, or mess in turning no stone unturned. Yeah, I agree. And I don't anticipate hearing any type of comment because they're the no comment king and queen of disappearing children. And so I don't anticipate, unless they're going to like maybe a motorcycle rally or something like that, to try to find an excuse to keep living the best life ever. I don't know what they are going to say, if they're going to have any type of comment or post today. We will see. But I hope reality starts kicking in for that family at some point, because it just doesn't seem like it is. Maybe they're too diluted. I don't know. It looks like salmon over rice. He even used his finger to push the rice on the fork, in my opinion. Yeah, but it's still hard to see. It's still an assumption. I mean, when they were talking about the salmon, it was on a plate and it was a cut salmon, So clearly that wasn't a picture from that night that's been passed around as a picture from that night. Is at the end of the day is what I kind of believe. So I have lost so much sleep over this case. My heart breaks for Seth. I know. And last night was pretty rough. I mean, I don't see how anybody could watch that without crying. I was boo-hooing. Because I just feel so bad. I mean, what do you do? There's not really a whole lot you can do except try to keep looking, keep advocating, try to pray that something, comes forward that will finally, bring him home. She's not paying any attention to him. No, she's not. She wasn't paying attention to him at all. I was too, Tracy. There. I hope, clink, clink. I hope clink, clink, true crime. I hope, because we're, like I said, we're not stupid. Maybe there may not be the evidence necessary for law enforcement, but the evidence and the circumstantial case for the public's opinion is very damaging to the bullcrap that was spewing out of the mouths of the mom and the stepdad. I think that we can conclude that there was a massive amount of inconsistencies, especially with new information from people stepping up to the plate to gather additional information, even after all the crap that they put me through. In that video, it looks like behind Sebastian in the booth directly behind me, it looks like the person wearing the green hoodie. Let's find out. I can't see really anybody behind him. It kind of cuts off that angle. Honestly, let me see if I can back it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't see any green hoodie behind him. I see a person with a like my little, knit hat that I wear. The and I don't know, but it doesn't look like a green hoodie. Maybe gray, potentially. But the hoodie, the little knitted head thingy on it looks like it's pink. So it's not. It seems like there's a girl behind him. There's a girl behind him potentially. That'd be my thought, but who knows? I can't see that well, i.e. glasses. My heart broke for Seth last night. The agony he's going through day after day. I don't know how he does it. He does it on hope. I've asked him that 1,000 times. Like, how do you keep going? He goes, I want my son home, and he goes, I have hope he's going to be back. And he's like, I gotta have hope. He's like, if I don't have hope, my world crumbles, So KP spending time taking you to court, laughing and smiling during court the whole time. Her, Chris, Clueless, Cletus, Cathy, Terry makes me sick. Now, we all have our opinions about that hot mess express bunch. So I'm sorry who sits and snaps pictures of their child eating like that. Well, I mean, usually get it in or say, hey, say cheese, something to get a smile on their face. But that was kind of, stealth a little bit. That's a little, I don't know how many parents do that, sitting directly across the table from your kid and start snapping pictures discreetly. That, VA, you're cracking me up. Good gracious. Every mother takes pictures of her kid. I agree with that. But not very many are trying hard to act like they're not taking a picture. Right? I mean, she really went all in to try to disguise the fact she was taking pictures. And not only that, but why did she not release those photos, the freshest photos of her son when he went missing? I mean, there were a lot of photos given to law enforcement. Why weren't these photos included? These would have been exactly how he would have looked. And one of those photos, if you look at the video, I mean, he looks directly at her. Right at the time she's trying to, 007 a photo. He was still chewing his food. I mean, like, who does that? You not even give your child an opportunity to make himself look, like, I don't like now. I mean, I got flat hair today. It's freaking cold out and there's moisture in the air, right? And so it's like, I don't want somebody taking my photo while I'm on YouTube. But you know what I mean, if I'm out in a thing, I'm gonna want to, spruce it up a little bit, get try to get some body for the second. Yeah, she was acting sneaky, and that's real. That's a great word, true crime addict, and it kind of caught me off guard when I said it out of my name. She was acting sneaky. Sneaky. I want you guys to imprint that in your brain. She was acting sneaky. When we're on True Crime Act, don't forget to bring that up on the main channel when we're over on the main channel, because I think I want to explore that a little bit more on the main channel. He did act like a perfect gentleman. He was so well behaved, and it makes you wonder how can that boy be in so much trouble all the time? All the blessed time he's in trouble. And it took me a while because, I kept talking about this trouble stuff, but then the more we learned about Sebastian's reclusive nature, it started making me realize, wait a minute, he doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't stay out past curfew. He doesn't do normal things that get any teenage kid in trouble. Why in the world would this child be in so much trouble? And then, we've been asking and scratching our heads for months. And then, boom, we get this bomb dropped in our lap that there's 5 CPS reports. And it's like, what in the world is going on here? They went from one house where they seemingly had no problems. They move into this new house. They're trying to kick their son out of their house, trying to find a place for him to go anywhere. Meanwhile, they just can't stand him anymore. Allegedly being pretty bad to him, enough to open 4 cases, and then a recent one back in January, the beginning of February. It's like, what in the world is going on? You're watching, it's like hindsight's 2020, but you're literally watching when you're listening to all this stuff coming together and moving forward, you're really seeing a family that is spinning out of control. And we talk about this spinning out of control in just about every single case where life is just spinning out of control before somebody disappears. And if you don't believe me, go back to all the Summer Wells stuff. Go back to the Quentin Simon stuff. I talk about this the spinning of life that starts unraveling for these families before somebody goes to or disappears or is unalived. And so this has definitely got the life spinning out of control aspect of this too, long before this child actually disappeared. And, we have another custody suit that we can't forget about. That was going on in the middle of all of this chaos, all of these CPS reports, this most recent CPS report. And it's just making you wonder, is it because maybe Sebastian's older now and he knows he can speak up and he's telling people more? Has this been going on the whole time, but they've been just like we heard on Justin's channel where they're blaming the dad for everything? Could they, if there was bruises or weird things, could they attribute it to the father, something happening at the father's house just to throw, the school off? Or do they just blame it on Sebastian when he shows up with bruises and stuff like that? Like he ran into a wall or, fell down or was just clumsy, right? How many times did he actually show up to school with bruises on him that the mom or the stepdad said was something else, right? We definitely have a court record that establishes that he's a self-harmer. Were they, and we heard from the stepfather on Smiley's World that he was no longer like that he found manageable ways to deal with his meltdowns as opposed to having, throwing himself into door jams and stuff like that. But were they hiding? And this was my statement long ago. Were they hiding abuse in this court established he abused himself type of thing? And I said, yeah, it is a possibility. And I truly believe to this day that is still a very strong possibility, especially in light of 5 child protective service cases. I mean, that's pretty significant over an 18-month, 2-year time frame. A very significant amount of cases, and I just can't for the life of me figure out how the social worker didn't say there's something more going on here. I mean, by what, you have your first case. Let's just play the tape through. You have your first case. It comes in. You go to the house. Okay, you have, it looks good. It looks clean. You don't really think this is going on. They got an autistic boy. They're giving you an explanation of what happened. So you close that case. Okay. Maybe they've never had a case before. This is the first case. You don't see anything on the surface. So you close it. Okay. I can understand mistakes like that, right? No problem. Not the best, but okay. I get it. Right? But then there's the second one. Now you have to kind of scratch your head and say, all all right, maybe it's just time to look a little deeper here. But by the third one, now you should really be digging in and finding out what in the world is going on at this property, in my opinion. There shouldn't have been a fourth or a fifth one. By the third one, there should have been okay, we went through this the first one and the second one. I'm sorry, we're going to have to dig. We need all of this stuff from you. You need to leave or figure this out, or we're going to have to remove Sebastian until we figure this out. You see? And none of that was even told to Seth, his biological father, that it is very much in his life. We learned that literally on very first interview, that he is the biggest rooter of his son on the sidelines. Okay? What bothers me the most is he does DCYF has 5 cases and they did nothing to help Sebastian. I tried telling you guys in Tennessee, this is what pretty much happened, Ma Dukes. This is what really pretty much happened in Summer Wells' case. It was the same situation. They've been at this house multiple times. They were just there the day before she disappeared. They should have had her removed. They should have had all those kids removed. The place was no place for a child. It was a very dangerous environment on the outside as well as the inside of that home, and they left that child there. If you fast forward to what we learned just a few weeks ago or a month ago, is that they have no capacity. They have no room to take these children. There's no more room in Tennessee, so much so that they're sending these kids that they have to take out of these homes to other places in other states, which is causing a lot of money. These places cost $5,000 to $10,000 a month to house these children or more, because they're dealing with the state. So you've got a very, very much broken system there in Tennessee that is not functioning well. And they don't have the money or the place to put these kids. So many of them are staying in these homes much longer than they should. And that's just an assumption I'm making because of the information that I just stated. And that would explain exactly why Summer Wells wasn't pulled from her home along with her brothers, and why Sebastian wouldn't have been pulled from his home along with what they should have been doing a long time ago and sending him over to his father's house. But they were going to, let me just leave it there. According to CP, Sebastian was lying, and CPS thought he was lying. Yeah, well, we don't believe crap that he says. Hey, Pamela, thank you. Thank you. Photos of KP talking to Green Hoodie outside was on one YouTuber. Laura, send me the link to that. I haven't even seen the outside video yet of the Green Hoodie interaction. If somebody is posting that, please forward it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, that's really what I have for this. I wanted to point you guys over to the video that I created this morning, and it has the entire clip that we currently have out in the public right now, going over my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Don't forget to pass it around. And send any questions or any commentary to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. If you know any information about where this boy could be, please reach out to law enforcement today. Please stand up and speak up for this young boy that's medically needy, that needs your help. Anything that you guys can do, I greatly appreciate it. As always, God bless each and every one of you. Before you guys leave, I just want to thank the folks in here. I want to thank Holly for saying happy birthday to Sebastian, and Pamela for saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your love, all your support, and let's work very hard to bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers